Alright, so I got a leaky oil pan on a Cummins engine. I think it's an L9. You can see the whole bottom of the pan's all wet. And we're pretty scaly. So time to change it out. So due to our COVID-19 pandemic that we're having, we can't actually get this oil pan from Cummins because it's back ordered indefinitely or until they start making them again. So you got an aftermarket oil pan. This is a stainless oil pan. Here's the part number. Came from bhoilpans.com. They give you a nice little bit of candy for your ordering from them. This whole package with the pan, the bolts, the gasket maker, and the gasket ran, I think, almost $1,000. It's obviously more than buying a steel one, but you don't have to change it again. So in the long run, it's probably going to save money. Here's the part number for the gasket. These are the little bits that they give you, the plugs and stuff for the pan. They send you this as well, some gasket sealant. They came with the bolts, torque to 15 foot-pounds, 32 bolts. I don't know if the oil pan came, or the oil pan gasket came with it, because I asked for it. They didn't know when I ordered it from the dealer. The dealer ended up getting it from the aftermarket place. It doesn't say on there, so the gasket may or may not have come from the BH oil pans. I do not know, but I opted to get the gasket and not use the sealant. I might have to use a sealant to seal like where like the front and the back cover meet the engine, just because they don't, usually there's like a little step in there and sometimes these don't seal right. Like I might be able to show you on this. So like here, the timing cover will bolt up against this, and then there'll be this little gap right there where you put a little bit of sealant in there, so it kind of bridges the gap and it seals the front and the rear of the engine better. So I'm not gonna show you putting it all in there. I'm just showing you that this is kind of an option if you're looking for an oil pan, and I'll kind of give you my thoughts at the end and show you what it looks like on. Give you a bit of a review if you're wondering on whether or not you should buy them. I mean, aside from the money, obviously a stainless one is not going to rot out like the steel ones do. Usually, I mean, these are used as plow trucks and salt trucks, so normally the oil pans only really last, even the OEM oil pans only really last like 3 or 4 years. So you got to keep that in mind, depending on how long you want to keep the truck. But you know, if you get a truck that doesn't get used in the winter that much, or is just used as a regular, like a delivery truck, or you're just driving around, then you probably wouldn't have to change oil pans out like we do. But they usually, like I say, they don't last too long in the plow trucks and the salt trucks. You're usually going through them pretty quick. So I mean, it looks pretty nice. It's bolted right to a piece of plywood, so you don't have to worry too much about shipping damage, at least on that lip there. You got a pretty thick flange, so it was something I was kind of concerned about if it was going to be thin. It feels kind of like an 1/8 inch thick piece of material for the flange there. And everything seems to be welded up pretty good. So anyway, let's get this in there. Okay, so I got this oil pan in. Went in pretty smooth. I didn't really have any real trouble with it. Aside from just rust on the sealing surface that gets like kind of wedged into the gasket area from the outside. But I got all that out. Put some of the silicone and stuff in the corners. Used the gasket, put it in, torqued it down. While I was putting it in, it almost looked like it had been installed before. There were little round marks from bolts. It looked like it had been put in. So what I think it is I'm pretty sure they bolt this down before they weld this flange to the oil pan, just because stainless warps so easily. So that's why I think those little round marks from the screws or from the bolts were in there. It went in all right. I didn't really have much problems. You can tell that the holes all on here were all pulled in because they weren't all perfectly centered over the hole. They were like pulled to the edge. So I think the sides got kind of pulled in a little bit when it was welded. But like I said, it went in. I didn't have any trouble putting it in, but I guess there's the potential for there to be a problem by the holes not lining up. But like I said, they all went in. You can see like here, the washer is right on the edge of the flange there. But like over here, you can see how it's in a little bit. So that kind of shows you how all the sides were pulled in, probably when they were welding it. Other than that, it all went pretty well. It came with a plug. It came with a plug for here for the accessories that I don't have. It had different style drain plugs. The ones that were on here were just a 3/8 recessed plug where you use just a 3/8 socket to get it off. But these are obviously nuts with O-rings in them. So we'll see how it holds up. But all in all, I mean, as long as it doesn't leak, I don't foresee there being an issue. I put a little bit of Loctite on the bolts. There weren't any instructions with it. I know all the international oil pans, when I get new bolts with them, they come with a little bit of Loctite already on them. So I put a little blue Loctite on these and torqued them all down to 15 foot-pounds. Other than that, other than that, the price, I'm pretty happy with it. So anyway, hope that can help somebody. I thank you for watching.